Hey everyone, what's going on? Thanks for tuning back into Relevant Jukebox, and today I'm back with part 15 of my entire vinyl collection series where I go over my whole vinyl collection, 10 random records at a time. So yeah, we're back with another 10 records over here. Let's just get right into it, not really looking to waste any of your time. Starting off with Modest Mouse, We Were Dead Before the Ship Even Sank. This one, I enjoyed this Modest Mouse album, late on in their discography. Check out the gatefold, actually. It's pretty cool looking. There's a couple good songs in here. Fire It Up, Dashboard, Fly Trapped in a Jar, Spitting Venom. There's some really good ones on this one, actually. Pretty late in their career. I haven't really been enthralled with anything they've done really since this album, to be honest with you. This is a double LP. It's definitely about 180 gram. It's just standard black, but it has a nice little classy labeling there. Modest Mouse, classic band. And I kind of went collector crazy with them a few years back getting into vinyl, and I wanted to have all their albums. Next up here, I have another album very late in a band's discography from another classic band, The Cure, The Top. I don't know. I don't really love this Cure album, honestly. It's okay. I found this at a record store for like a couple bucks, so, I figure why not pick it up, add it to the collection. It's just one I didn't have, and the media was like pristine. It looked really, really nice. It's one of the original Sire presses here. So here it is, just standard black with nice classic Sire labeling. I figured I'd have to pick this one up, add it to the Cure collection, because I'm a huge Cure fan. Also, it did come with the original inner sleeve as well, which looks pretty nice. Some interesting artwork from The Cure, but yeah, once again, like I said, don't really love this album, but it's in my collection. Next up, I have Kali Uchis' Isolation. This is a pretty fun R&B, hip-hop kind of blend of an album. Not too bad. I mean, it's kind of like, hasn't really aged too well, I don't think, compared to some other releases that came around this time. Look at that back cover. Whoo, man, how can you resist? But yeah, a lot of interesting crossroads of collaborators on here to create this album. You got Tyler the Creator, Steve Lacy, just to name a few. I think the Internet as well. Here's the inner sleeve on the inside. More images of Kali looking unbelievable. And then you got some credits on the back there. And this was a limited record store exclusive. I want to say not record store day, but like an indie exclusive, I think. It's on translucent blue. So it does match the cover art pretty perfectly. Awesome labeling too. Yeah, I mean, I have not really been that in love with anything that she's done since this album right here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Just not really as much for me. Next up, I got the sophomore full length from Courtney Barnett. Tell Me How You Really Feel. I enjoyed this one almost as much as the first one that she put out. I think Courtney Barnett's a pretty good songwriter. Nothing blow me away, but this is a decent album. Look at the shiny gatefold here. It's got all the lyrics in there to the tracks, which, they all look handwritten too. I like the packaging on this this vinyl release. Really, really nice. This one was a limited release as well. It's on translucent red. I picked this one up at a local record store back when it released. I'm not really quite sure if it's difficult to track down nowadays. Loved having the translucent red vinyl. It matches the cover art perfectly. Always interested in whatever Courtney Barnett does. Hopefully, the follow-up to this record is as good as the first two. Next up, I have the comeback of the Breeders, All Nerve. Breeders, classic band. I love the Breeders. I love Kim Deal, obviously coming from the Pixies, one of my favorites. This one, it doesn't really hold up compared to the original stuff from the 90s. But I thought it was a pretty decent album. A couple really good tracks on it. I did like Nervous Mary and Wait in the Car. There's definitely some decent tracks on here. But again, nothing like Pod or Last Splash, obviously. And this one was a limited release. Actually, the packaging, this is an alternate cover with the black sleeve instead of the white. And it did come with a nice, cool-looking inner sleeve that has all the lyrics on the back. And it is a translucent orange vinyl, which looks really nice. It's a nice thick pressing too, sounds really nice. Yeah, I mean, 4AD always does a really good job at releasing physical media. And yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough to catch them on their tour. when they promoted this album. That was my first time seeing the Breeders, so you know, I figured why not scoop the album, support the band. Next up here is a 10-inch of a band that is no longer, sadly, from Krill. Steve hears Pile in Malden and burst into tears. Now, clearly, this is like a tongue-in-cheek title over here. Krill being an indie rock band from Boston that disbanded a couple years back and reformed last year as the band Not, which I did not think was nearly as interesting and compelling as the original stuff. And yeah, I mean, they're a part of like the Exploding in Sound Records scene where this one came out. Obviously, Pile being kind of like the band that everybody in New England worships. Which I don't really understand why. I mean, I think they're extremely boring. No offense, but they are. Here's a little inner sleeve that it came with here. Thanking some people. It's got a weird image on the front. They got a guy in a weird Pile shirt, which is kind of like how I feel when I'm listening to Pile. But yeah, this one's a nice little 10-inch. It's a split-colored vinyl. I know this one's pretty limited. I don't remember how many, but it's half white, half black. Looks really cool. Cool labeling. Yeah, some good tracks on here too. I mean, Krill, I mean, if you're looking for some kind of like math rock emo kind of blend, I feel like that's where they kind of land. Good record, good little EP. Next up is the sophomore and final album that Krill released, actually, A Distant Fist Unclenching. This being the final album that they released as a band. It's got some good songs, definitely. Not as good as Lucky Leaves, in my opinion. But I did like this album. I got a chance to see them on one of like their last shows ever. They played at a venue called Cuisine and Locale, which is now Once Lounge in Somerville, Mass. And they absolutely destroyed it. I mean, their set was like amazing. Really, really good stuff. It's just a standard black vinyl. Nothing too crazy. This one had a limited pressing that I missed. That sold out really quick, I remember. So I just picked this one up at the show for pretty cheap. And yeah, you know, decent album. Torture, Tiger, you know, those are some good tracks to check out if you're curious. Next up, I got Mac DeMarco's Another One demos. So these obviously being the demos from his little mini album, Another One, with a lot of bonuses thrown in the mix there. This is actually a longer album than Another One. Yeah, and this one came out as a part of Record Store Day, I believe, in 2016. So, you know, Mac has kind of like made it a habit to like release an album and then put out the demos on vinyl for Record Store Day, which, you know, I'm a fan of. I think it's pretty cool if you're a big fan of Mac. This one did come with a nice poster with Mac just drumming, looking hilarious in the ocean there, which I like quite a bit. Nice image of Mac there. And it is a red vinyl, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, we got a red vinyl here. I don't remember how many were pressed. I want to say it was like 2,000 or something, kind of limited. I did only see maybe like 1 or 2 copies of this at my local record store when this dropped. And next up, another Mac DeMarco demo record, This Old Dog. So same idea here. This was a record store exclusive pressing from 2018 with This Old Dog demos on it. And again, more bonus tracks that did not make the final album cut. This Old Dog being one of the better albums in the Mac DeMarco canon, in my opinion. Similar simple packaging on this one, and again, another like poster with the image of Mac. This one a little more serious, I guess, in its tone, but same idea, same design, the new image here. And this one was also pretty limited, sold out pretty quick from my local store. There was a few people waiting in the line for it, but I thankfully snagged one. And this one is on translucent orange, or almost like a gold color. It's nice and thick too. Beautiful release from Captured Tracks. Yeah, this is a good one. One of the better demo album compilations, whatever, from Mac DeMarco. And last but certainly not least is an absolute classic from T-Rex. Electric Warrior. Classic rock album over here. Even though I do prefer the Slider, actually, to this one. Even though this is a good one as well. You know, I love just, you know, Mark Bolan overall. And this LP is beat to hell. As you can tell, very, very used copy. I'm not really quite sure what pressing it is. Check out the gatefold, though. You know, nice image right there of Mark chillin' back in the day. And yeah, this one, like I said, I picked this up at a record store in Salem, Mass. It was cheap. I want to say it was like $9 or $10 or something, and I wanted to add it to my collection. Reprise Records here. It was like nice little original labeling with the floating steamboat there, or whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, stereo copy. Sounds pretty nice. You know, it has, you know, as far as like this one, it's an old pressing. 71 was when this came out, but I'm not really quite sure what pressing this one is. But yeah, I mean, this one's a good one. If you're a fan of rock music, I mean, you probably already have it in your collection. If you are interested in this album, definitely give it a listen if you have not. Pretty much classic. Also, I do suggest the slider. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this installment of my vinyl collection series. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to hit that like button and share. And if you want more content from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Peace.